Brawadis NBA Show. I'm your host, Brandon Brawadis, and you're watching the very first episode of this series. Today was a really busy day for the league, which is unusual because it's mid-June, we're in the middle of the NBA Finals, Game 6 right around the corner. Draft night isn't even here yet, about a little over a week. Free agency starts in 2 or 3 weeks. Nonetheless, there was a lot of talk, a lot of movement going on in the league. We'll start off in Denver, where the Nuggets have hired ex-Sacramento Kings head coach Mike Malone to a 4-year deal to become their new head coach. Fourth year being a team option. I love this deal for Denver because Mike Malone is not a bad coach. The record might suggest he's a bad coach, but Mike Malone had a lot of praise from people around the league for starting to turn that Sacramento Kings team around. He proved a lot, especially considering the roster that he had in place there. He was let go apparently because he didn't meet management expectation. He's a good coach. I think people were sleeping on him. This is going to prove to be a good hire for Denver. It'll be interesting to see where he takes them. If not next year, the coming years. He's there for 4 years, so we'll see. I like that move for Denver. I'm going to just put this out there. I hate talking NBA draft rumors, especially at a time like this. A little over a week before the draft, things you hear, especially at this time, could have this much truth to it. Zero, none. What you hear coming out of GM's mouth, reports, rumors, none of it could be true. Come draft night, it could be total opposite of what the teams are trying to do. I'll get into it anyways. There's a report that the New York Knicks love the top 3 players in this draft, and rightfully so. D'Angelo Russell, Jahlil Okafor, Karl Anthony Towns. The New York Knicks pick 4th. If those 3, in any order, are off the board by the time they pick 4th, they have heavy interest in trading down into the draft with their eyes on 2 players. One being Frank the Tank Kaminsky out of Wisconsin, shooter, 7-footer, power forward, center. Second being Cameron Payne, the point guard who is less known than Kaminsky, point guard out of Murray State. I think he averaged around 20 and 6 a game. He's interesting. He's not as known as other players in this draft, but he's rising up draft boards. I've seen him go as early as 9, 10, 11. So the Knicks, again, they have interest in trading down if they can't get the player that they want. The other draft rumor came out of Charlotte where, according to Chad Ford of ESPN Insider, the Hornets reportedly love R.J. Hunter, who you guys might know as a man who hit that shot for Georgia State, the NCAA tournament, 2nd round, that knocked his father, the head coach, out his little wheelchair stool. He's a shooter, shooting guard. The Hornets do like him. He's projected to go outside the lottery. The Hornets select number 9, so it'll be interesting how far down they move, who they trade with. Maybe they could pick up an extra asset. Another rumor out of the draft, regarding the draft, Brooklyn is looking to package. They pick number 29. They're looking to package that pick along with Mason Plumlee, who's a promising big man. He's still young. I think 22, 23 years old. They're trying to move up in the draft. I'm not sure how high that package could get them, but it could definitely move up a few spots. It looks like they're committed to a full rebuild. Just a couple months ago, they put Darren Williams and Joe Johnson on the trade block. They're capped out. They owe a lot of money. They're an aging team, not good enough to win a championship. So I think this is the right move if they could try to flip some pieces for some of the picks that they've lost in the recent years, ever since they moved to Brooklyn. Sad news coming out of Philly. Honestly, this is scary news for fans, players, management, coaches. Joel Embiid, who was selected 3rd overall in last year's draft, who missed all of last season with foot injury, has reportedly suffered a setback in that same foot, and there's a legitimate chance, according to CBS Sports, that he could miss all of next season. This is sad. Let me tell you, 7-footers with foot injuries, it's not good. You see it with Greg Oden, Yao Ming. I don't want to say, but Kevin Durant has had some problems this past year. You don't want to see this type of thing happen, and that's not even counting how Joel Embiid missed the NCAA tournament when he was in college due to back spasms. You hope he's okay because he has so much potential. We haven't even seen him play one game. Hopefully he's Even if he misses some time, it won't be the whole season. Hopefully that report isn't true. We'll see. Last but not least, the biggest news of the day came from LA and Charlotte, where the Hornets and Clippers, they made a deal. Lance Stevenson is on his way to LA, playing for the Clippers. Clippers sent Spencer Hawes and Matt Barnes. Let me tell you why I love this trade for the Clippers. They got rid of Spencer Hawes, who had 3 years, almost $20 million of guaranteed money owed to him. He was out of the Clippers rotation. He couldn't even crack the rotation. That's not a terrible contract, but at the same time, that's not good value for a big guy, especially that they weren't going to use. Cleared up cap space. They did get rid of Matt Barnes, which is going to hurt. He's a vital part to their success. 3-point shooter, veteran, tough, attitude. That's going to hurt. But you bring Lance Stevenson, who I'm not going to lie, he was terrible last year. And terrible is an understatement. He was one of the worst players in the league last year, if we're being honest. But you look just the year before last, he was a big reason Indiana was even in the Eastern Conference Finals, about to knock out LeBron James and the Miami Heat and go to the NBA Finals. He led the league in triple doubles. He's only 24 years old. If there's a team that could knock him back, knock his head in, Los Angeles Clippers, Doc Rivers, Chris Paul, veterans, a contender. Last I checked, Indiana Pacers were a contender, and he was putting up nice numbers. He might not start. J.J. Redick is probably going to start at the guard, but Lance Stevens could play heavy minutes coming off the bench. He could even play some with Chris Paul, relieve some of his ball handling duties. I like this trade for the Clippers. Oh, and the biggest part, he's an expiring contract. Sure, he has 2 years left, but the last year is a team option. So if he doesn't work out in LA, decline the team option, and he's gone. This is a low risk, high reward for the Clippers. If they could get him back to even playing 90% of how he did in Indiana, as if the West could get any tougher. And this isn't a knock on Charlotte. He obviously didn't fit there. They cut him loose. Apparently they love Spencer Hawes. He could stretch the floor. He's a big guy who could shoot. Matt Barnes, I'm not sure if he's going to stay there. He might be waived. But both teams did what they had to do. I'm not sure if I'm reading too much into this or what, but Matt Barnes was traded. He's pretty much the only true small forward on that Clippers roster. They didn't get a small forward in return. A guy's a free agent this summer that goes by the name of Paul Pierce, who's from LA. He's from Inglewood. He would like to play for one last championship ring. Not to mention the head coach of the Clippers, Doc Rivers, coached Paul Pierce for many years in Boston. They won championships together. They're close. I see this as the first domino falling in Paul Pierce ending up in LA this summer with the Clippers. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Who knows? But that's what I see. Anyways, thank you for watching the Brawadis NBA Show. That was the first episode of what hopefully turns out to be many. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment on any thoughts you had about this show, predictions. Let me know who you think is going to win Game 6. Let me know who you think is going to win the NBA Finals, draft predictions, anything. Thank you for watching.